Park Lane Tavern. This is Mark again. I'm here with Kevin from Sam Adams. We're doing our Sam Adams Tap Invasion. This evening I'm going to pour a Norse legend. Kevin's going to tell you about all of the beers that we're featuring. And look how delicious this looks in our signature Sam Adams glass. Kevin, if you want to take it over from here, we'll walk down and cover each of the taps.
Absolutely. So as Mark said, the first one we're going to talk about is the Norse Legend. It's a beer we just came out with in 22-ounce bombers. It's a very traditional beer that comes out of Scandinavia. It was traditionally brewed by the women for their husbands for whenever they come home from work and have something to drink. The cool ingredients that we use in this beer, we use juniper berries as well as rye, with the juniper berries being the very unique part about it. So you get a very cool aroma as well as taste whenever you try this beer with the rye, sort of the malty backbone of it. After that, the other beers, we kind of switch gears a little bit. We actually just came out with a cider here in Northern Virginia just about 3 months ago called Angry Orchard. It's a very, very cool tap handle, as you can see. And we came out with the cider. We kind of took the same due diligence when it came to the selection of our apples as we would with any ingredient that we put in our beers. And so we took a great deal of time kind of choosing these apples, and we came up with Italian and French apples as the ones to go with. And so it's a great combination of the apple ingredients that come together to produce a great cider with Angry Orchard. It comes in 3 different styles with crisp, dry, and ginger. After that, we move on to Grumpy Monk. Grumpy Monk is, again, a very, very cool beer. IPAs are the hot thing right now that a lot of beer drinkers have wanted for quite some time now. We use a Belgian yeast in it, which gives it a nice, spicy, fruity characteristic, as well as a lot of American hops. And so a lot of those American hops, when you kind of throw them all and bring them together and put them into the boil, it gives it a nice citrusy, almost grapefruit-like flavor to go along with the spicy, fruity characteristics of the yeast. Comes in at about 5.7% alcohol and is a very well-balanced beer from the malty backbone to the spicy hop characteristic. If we kind of keep moving down the line, we come on our summer ale. And a lot of our and this beer in particular is one, it changes with the seasons. The types of beers that people like to drink and the flavor profiles they go for changes with the seasons. And so summer ale is the American wheat ale, which differs from the German flavors that kind of have the clove and banana flavors as sort of the main characteristics, where for this one we use obviously wheat in there, but we also use lemon zest and a traditional African pepper known as grains of paradise. Very great during the hot summer months that we're experiencing right now. Next we have the East-West Kolsch, and a Kolsch is a really cool style too. It comes from Dusseldorf, is where it originated, and it's a very, very approachable, very drinkable beer. It's almost on the same level as a Pilsner, but a little bit more fruity characteristics that you're going to get from the yeast. Kolsches are a beer that you use an ale yeast, but you ferment at lager temperature, so you kind of get a little bit of both worlds with it. Traditionally in Dusseldorf, whenever you're drinking this, until you actually take your coaster and set it on top of your beer, they'll continue to come along and pour you more and more Kolsch. It's a really cool thing. Next up we have our New World Tripel, which is one of my personal favorites. This is a beer that we're just now getting ready to launch in large 22-ounce bottles with the cord and the wiring on top of it here in Virginia. Comes in at 10% alcohol, so it packs a little bit of a punch. I'd recommend putting it in a little small snifter glass so it doesn't creep up on you too much. But we put this beer in huge oak casks for about 6 months and let it age, and it creates what we know known as our Cosmic Mother Funk, KMF, and it's something that we use in all of our different Belgian varieties, whether it's our Creek, our Belgian Stout, our New World Tripel. All these different beers kind of use the same backbone, which is this KMF, which is really cool. Has a lot of those Belgian spicy characteristics that you might get out of the Belgian IPA, but at the same time, it's going to have a much bigger malty backbone. When you look at triples, they differ from the doubles and the singles because you need to use more malt in there, which gives it a little bit more body, more malty characteristics, and it gives it more alcohol by volume, which is why it comes in at 10%. The last one over here we come to is our Boston Lager. This is the flagship beer that Jim Koch started the company in 1984. He brewed it for the first time in his kitchen and actually took the wallpaper off his wall the first time he brewed it. He found the recipe of his great-great-grandfather Louis Koch up in his attic, and he brewed it, and he tried it and decided it was the best beer he had ever had and wanted to start a brewery. So he brought it to the Great American Beer Festival and won best beer there, and from there the company's really taken off, and this has been the flagship and the backbone behind Sam Adams. We like to say beer should have ABC, should have A lot of flavor, it should be B, balanced. When we talk about balance, it's that balance between that malty backbone as well as the hop spiciness that you're going to get out of it. And this beer is really the quintessential balanced beer. You're going to get a nice caramel, toffee characteristic in the malt, and a little spiciness is going to be coming from those noble hops that we use, Hallertau, Middle Fruit, as well as Detonate. And C, it should be complex. This is a beer that we do a lot of cool things in the brewing process, like croisoning and decoction, which is a little bit more in depth when to talk about brewing processes. But it's just a beer that, it's my favorite beer that we make, and it's a very consistent and true craft beer that we love. And so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't go a little too in depth with some of those descriptions, but Park Lane Tavern is a great establishment that is generous enough to let us do events like this with these tap takeovers to really give consumers sort of a different idea of what Sam Adams does, because a lot of people are so used to our lager and our seasonal. You can kind of see the different varieties. We brewed well over 50 beers last year, and this is just kind of a way to give consumers an idea of all those different styles that we like to do. So I appreciate you listening.